Okay, following on from our last tutorial, I want to teach you how to use watercolor brushes and how to create a kind of watercolor effect, even though it's done on the computer. And we're still using the Charlie Chaplin image that we used in the last tutorial. So we got to this stage before where we got a layer mask, and we are going to be now using watercolors over the top to create a kind of watercolor Charlie Chaplin. What you'll need though is for you to download a watercolor brush. Now there are two kind of types. You can download watercolor brushes by just googling them, and you can get a whole load of free watercolor brushes, and you just need to be careful about which one you're choosing, and you need to download those. But also you can pay for some, and I paid for these because they give you a good proper kind of feeling of watercolor from Carl's Ultimate Watercolor Pack. And you can also draw with these and create a kind of watercolor effect. Once you've downloaded them, they either come up looking like this kind of file or this kind of file. Now this is a tool and this is a brush, so you can either use tools or you can use brushes. And to get them onto Photoshop, you'll need to do two types of things. If they are a brush, then you select brushes, you go to this cog under brushes, and you go to load brushes. And you'll see that if I go to my desktop, they are under this, and you just click on that and you press open and they will appear at the bottom. So here are my brushes that I can use. Or if they're a tool, you do a very similar thing where you click on the cog. You have to show all tool presets, which is really important, and you go to load a tool brush, and there are my brushes, and I've downloaded them already so I don't need to press open, but they will appear in here, and then I can use them again as a tool. Okay, so what I need to do is be able to select the object that I'm going to be kind of painting, similar to that. And I can do that easily by double clicking on the mask that I created earlier, and you can see here that I can actually select or load the mask already. So there is the selection that I've got from the mask. And I don't want to paint directly onto that layer, so I need to create a new layer. And there is my layer above it. Now, I don't really want to see that anymore, but I could bring up a bit of a feather to make it a bit softer, to make it look a bit more like the watercolor. If I roll this down, you'll notice that the background reappears because you see the density of that layer mask. So you could bring elements of that into it again, but I don't want to. I can just bring up the softer edges of it, and now I don't need to see it anymore. So I use the eye to get rid of the layer visibility, and I will go to layer 2. Now I'm going to paint onto that layer, that selection, and it will only select that area. It won't go outside of the area. So I want a darker colour, so I'll choose a kind of a red colour to do this. And now I can just kind of sweep into the object, using it, making it look a bit like a watercolor, using the brushes that I've selected. Because I selected the tool, I can gradually build up. So I've selected the watercolor, from here. I can also try different things with this. There's different thickness of watercolor. So you can see I can select quite a different range of brushes until I'm happy with the one I want. Okay, so now I want to be able to select parts of Charlie Chaplin. So I'll go back to my picture and get rid of both those images. And now I can use my quick selection tool, and I can drag, instead of having that selection, I can drag, I'll deselect first of all, and I can drag to the part that I want. So I'm going to use the hat. Now I could either create a new layer, or I could use the layer that I have already. And now I can paint into that area by selecting, let's see what I want from here. So I can now select that area. If I wanted to bring the opacity down, if I think that's too deep, I can bring the opacity down like that, and I can still use the watercolor over that area. And I can keep on doing this until I've got kind of remnants of Charlie Chaplin. There's his moustache. I can also add to the selection by going to here, and I can pick up the eyebrows. I can also pick up the tie. And by doing that, I can, just by adding to selection, I can now go back onto that layer. If I want to do it on another layer, I would just create a new layer by going to there. And then I can build on top of that if I wanted to. I can also add a darker red if I wanted to. Just so it looks more realistic as a watercolor. And I can gradually build up more and more details. If I'd wanted to smooth my selection down, I'd have just gone exactly as I before, is to refine edges and to feather and to smooth that selection. And then with that, I can actually make that a softer edge by going over it again. That's actually a little bit softer. Okay, and I'd gradually build up until I have more and more details. And that's how to create a kind of watercolor effect. I can keep on adding to that selection if I wanted to. I can keep on using different kind of watercolors. And adding layer on top of layer by building gradually up. Okay, thank you.